Coaches Show is brought to you by Chris Lindahl Real Estate and by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. With Lindsay Whalen and Ben Johnson. Now, it's the Gopher Coaches Show.
And welcome into the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Pierre Nugent alongside K-Fans Justin Gard. With us today, the head coach of Gopher women's basketball, Lindsay Whalen, for the second week in a row. Lindsay, last week we were talking about you guys playing with some momentum, but you guys ran into a bit of a roadblock this week. How would you assess what you've seen from your group in these past couple of games?
Well, what a treat for me to see you guys 2 weeks in a row here on Tuesday.
It's the highlight of your day.
Yeah, you know, it was not a great week, for us, some times throughout the games, some bright spots, but obviously since we talked, dropping one at home against Rutgers and then going down to Nebraska and dropping one down there was a tough week. And, unfortunately we didn't get it done. How before, last time we talked coming into a time when we just beat, Northwestern and, had some pretty good games on the road, won our home games. It was, last week is a week that, I think that for whatever reason, we took a couple tough ones and we have to regroup and finish this last week of the regular season. It's senior week, senior night, Thursday. So we have to keep going and we got to have a really, really good week of practice more than anything. It starts in practice and, starts with today. So, we'll have a great practice today that'll, bounce us into tomorrow and we'll go from there.
And going back to Nebraska, first half was pretty good. Sarah Scalia kind of got you back into the game and you were hanging in there at halftime and really kept their bigger name players off the board for the most part. Then first couple of minutes of that third quarter, they got going a little bit. So as you went back and watched that again, what stood out and how Nebraska was able to separate?
Well, I think, some quick shots early and then, obviously, Sarah, we had some really good attacks downhill. Sarah hit a couple threes. They give Nebraska credit. They really defended the 3-point line well. We only were able to attempt 9 threes. And so give them credit for that. And second half, I just thought some of our quick shots were tough, and then they got out in transition in the second half. And some stuff that we need to definitely clean up in video. And then, as well as in practice. So, unfortunately there in the third, great crowd for them. They got some momentum and it was tough for us.
Yeah, Justin mentioned Sarah Scalia, though. She led you guys in scoring 22 points in that game against Nebraska. She's been your go-to scorer all season long. How do you feel she has embraced that role and kind of been the team leader here this season?
Well, yeah, and she's had to, go from a little bit of off ball to more on the ball now, which has been, I think, a really, good opportunity for her. I think it's been, there's different opportunities, different challenges with it. And, as we see, she's got some different opportunities from different spots in the floor that I think she's embraced. And there's no question she's, I think we see one of her step backs. Yep, that she's a worker. She's just a great kid. She's doing everything we've asked her to play off the ball. Now she's been starting point guard the last few games. So she's given us she's given us a lot, and there's no question there's times I felt in that Nebraska game that she was willing us. And really giving us everything she has. So I think it's been, I think we've seen some real growth with her, just as you said, leading the team and, kind of being more of that floor general on the court.
Caddy Sissoko's had 2 good games against Nebraska, career high 25 points back in December. And then I think her best game in a while, Linz, in that second half in particular, 14 points in 19 minutes off the bench. What was unlocked there for her, and how important is that for her to carry forward here now the rest of the way?
Well, I think, Nebraska with they hard hedge and they're, they're bringing out, as we see here, 2-2 on Scalia. So she had some nice pick and pop opportunities. She saw a few go in early, and then I think she started to feel really good. So, obviously aggressive here, getting the O board, but O board put back. I just think the way their style, the way that they play pick and roll gave her more freedom, more opportunities. And then once she started feeling good off the bounce, she was able to make some really good things happen for us. So yeah, jumper looked good, and we'll need to keep that going for her into this coming week.
Yeah, we've talked this season about secondary scoring outside of Sarah Scalia. Deja Winters has been that secondary scoring at times, but the other day against Nebraska, she only took 5 shots. Godiva Hubbard, meanwhile, only 2 shots in 32 minutes. What was happening in the flow of the game that maybe just didn't allow them to get up more shots?
Well, one, I think it's, obviously teams have seen when we've had success that, Deja gets going, Diva gets going, so they're closing them out, obviously really strong on the 3-point line. And so, I have to find different ways to get them going a little bit earlier, and, maybe play calling a little more for those two to kind of get them more in the flow of things. And obviously, early we try to go inside to Rose, and I think there's just some games when you're when you're an off guard that if teams are playing you tight like that, they're running them off the line every single time. It can be tough, but we have to get more determined, and we got to fight through that and continue to go and do what that's what's worked for us in a lot of games, and just continue to work and fight.
When we talked last week, you even brought it up. You're coming off a great win against Northwestern. There was a lot of momentum, a lot of positivity. And with all of that, going back to the Rutgers game, how surprised were you at that performance? I know you were disappointed. We talked after the game. We talked about it even before the Nebraska game. That just wasn't the same team that we had watched the previous couple of weeks. So what do you think went into that and led to that, and how did you move forward from it?
Well, obviously we're playing some of our best basketball of the season leading up, and then, some scheduling things with playing Friday at 3:30. Then we have, it's our bye weekend. So looking back, we didn't want the bye. We would have preferred to play Sunday. We didn't want the bye. A lot of length on the perimeter. Some really, I think some real guards that on their team hit some really tough shots that they probably weren't hitting the first time we're playing them. But yeah, I don't know. I've been racking my brain now for about a week as far as what happened, what went that week of practice and preparation, what can we do better, what can we do differently, and then outside of just saying we wish we could have kept playing. Obviously, we have to, look inward and figure out, what worked going into the break, what didn't work after our weekend break, and then get back to who we were leading up to it. And the great thing is we still have opportunities this week, and then the tournament next week. But yeah, there's no question we got to find. We got to find that team that had so much success leading into our bye week.
We didn't see much from Deja. Yeah, we didn't see much from Deja Winters, like we mentioned, back against Nebraska, but we did see a lot of her against Rutgers. What was working for her in that game as opposed to the Nebraska game?
Well, I think she was obviously aggressive. We found her a little bit here in the flow. I thought we had some really good poise there. Laura handled, first of all, Sarah handled the hard hedge. Laura rolled hard and had some really good poise. I think here we just, especially in the beginning, we were able to expose a little bit of their trapping, and we found her early, and then she got confident and she got her shot going, and I just think she was aggressive, and also we were poised in handling what they brought, and it ended up being a really efficient night for her. But obviously, she had a really, good scoring night, and but yeah, we didn't come out with the win, and that makes it, looking back on last week, makes it obviously looking back makes you think of what worked, what did work, and obviously we have to be better.
We've talked a lot about points in the paint and the differential really being a predictor for if you're going to win the game or if you're not going to win the game. So two-part question. How do you continue to look to establish points in the paint, whether it's with your bigs or whether it's getting out on the break and getting some easy ones? And then defensively, what's the key to limiting points in the paint opportunities for your opponent?
Well, after the Rutgers game, we had 8 points in the paint, and it's something that we talked about leading into the Nebraska game. The Nebraska game, we responded with 38 points in the paint, and so obviously when it's a point of emphasis, it's something that our team responds. But offensively, it's post touches, it's cutting off the ball, guards finishing in the paint, and then like you said, playing off of your defense where you're able to get some fast breaks and get some things going. And so, obviously Rutgers, defensively, it's being able to guard one-on-one, playing tough post defense, fighting, the three-quarter front. And then, you're seeing right here that the offensive rebounds that unfortunately we gave up in that game. It just, so all those factors led to why you see that on the screen right there of what happened as far as paint points against Rutgers. So, we improved against Nebraska as far as our points in the paint. We still gave up too many, and then it's going to be hard to win games when against Nebraska we give up 93.
Well, those two games are now in the rearview mirror. We're going to turn the page now. More to come on the Gopher Coaches Show with Lindsay Whalen. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Thursday's matchup with Illinois. That's coming up next.
Back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Gopher Coaches Show. Lindsay Whalen with us this week. Let's talk about what's ahead for you guys this week. Final home game of the season as you host Illinois. Before we talk about that game, let's talk about the seniors. You mentioned it in the first block, Lindsay. It's senior night. Seniors going to be playing in the final game of the barn. I know that's always a special occasion.
Yeah. You can't help but think back to, 82 years ago when it was, my senior night. I didn't get to play on my senior night. A broken hand.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But no, I mean, Diva, Deja, Laura, Kayla, Bailey, they're all going to be honored on Thursday. And obviously, Diva has, been a part of this program for 6 years. And she's been through a year where she was hurt, been through a pandemic. And, now here it is, it goes fast. And, Deja and Bailey here with us for a year, Laura and Kayla for 2 years. So it's, all those five, I think that they're going to be extremely successful in whatever they choose to do beyond their time at the university. But they've all just had profound impacts on me as a person, as us, as a team. And so, we're gonna go, and how we honor them is how we're gonna play, and how hard we're gonna play, and how much effort we're gonna play with, and not just on Thursday night, like in practice and in shoot around, and that's what we're gonna do, and that's the best way I know to send out these seniors on a high note. It's and we talked about this the other night after the Nebraska game that. Once your basketball career, and I don't know if these seniors, this is their basketball career, if this is going to be it, but when it's over, it's over. And, it's the tough thing about sports, is when it's over, it's over. But how do you want to finish it? How do you want this last chapter to be? And, last week was a tough week, and, the good thing for us, thankfully, is we have this week that these seniors can write their final chapter, and us as a coaching staff, and us as other players on the team who are underclassmen. How can we help them write that chapter? So that's what we'll focus on in every second that we're together as a team.
And you've got the emotion of the senior night, the sentimentality of senior night, but the business of senior night is you want to win. You don't want to walk off that floor losing at home on your final game. So with Illinois, a little bit of a wild card. Obviously, their record's not very good, but I know they've got a lot of individually talented players, and they can really move one-on-one as well from watching them a couple of times this year. So what's the challenge against the Illini to make sure everything's buttoned up and you take care of business on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just having our focus here for 2 days of practice. That's a big thing. Is just you know, they're a team that you know, they're physical. They play extremely hard. You know, they've you know, got some really good inside players, and I know Coach Shimmy has a great scout for us, and we'll be ready to go. You know, it's a team that you know, we beat them here a year ago, and they got us at their place. So you know, it's Katie. It's nice seeing Katie out there. I haven't seen her in a while. Obviously on the court for us, but anyway, it's just good to see her running around a little bit. But yeah, it's you know, a team, as we've seen. You know, we've had games where we've been up 4 against Indiana in the fourth quarter when they're ranked 5th in the country, and we've also had games where at home we lose to Rutgers. And no disrespect, but just record-wise, we can't be looking at that. We have to come ready, and we have to come ready in practice, and we will.
Illinois may be having a tough season, but Aaliyah Nye is doing whatever she can to help them win games. She leads the team in scoring. What does she do for them that you're really going to have to pay attention to come Thursday?
Yeah, she's got nice size. She can shoot it from deep. Against Northwestern, she had 5 threes. You know, I think we see one of them here. So, you know, they just played Sunday as we did. So in watching this game yesterday to prepare for these guys, she's somebody who, like, you know, at times here was willing her team and trying to do everything she could to keep them in it against a really good Northwestern team. So she's somebody who, when we do go some of our gold, our 1-2-2, we have to, you know, clearly know where she is, and then whoever's on her, we have to close out long at the 3-point line and make her put it down. But she's a nice player, and you know, she does a lot for that team.
You mentioned that you didn't get your senior night because you had a broken hand. You did get some.
I was there. I just didn't.
Well, I know you were there. I didn't think you were like watching on TV. But you got some bonus games at the barn, including later that year NCAA tournament, maybe top 5 game all time at Williams Arena, that Kansas State second round game. So what do you remember about that? I was there, didn't sit down the whole game, still tired from it. But then with the Lynx, you got a bonus couple of games there in the postseason too, including some free throws to win a title. So you kind of got like a quasi senior night a couple of different times.
You know, it's amazing. I finally got a few breaks to go my way. You know, I've had a tough go at this whole basketball thing. I don't know. I've just been really blessed. I mean, I don't know. It's, you know, I've worked hard, and I worked hard for to be ready when my opportunities came. So yeah, it's like, I kind of thought during that senior night, I think we played Ohio State. I think we took a tough loss at home, if I remember. But I was, you know, you kind of look at the calendar like, okay, when could I be back? This is what the doctors told me, you know, roughly that 5-6 week area. And that's when we would be hosting in the NCAA tournament. And thankfully, our fans were so supportive and did such a great job of packing Williams Arena all season that we got the home games, the first and second rounds, despite being the 7th seed. And then, you know, it's history after that. So I did have 2 more games, and I remember still running off the floor of that game against Kansas State. Like, okay, this is how I want to remember my last game here. And then, just as fate would have it, you know, Target Center renovation and playing at Excel for that season. And then I don't know what it was that came in where we had to move to Williams. I told Cheryl, I said, well, she came to me in Brunson and said, what do you think about this? And I said, if we get our home games at Williams Arena, I mean, I can't guarantee we win a championship, but I'm like, we're going to win a championship if we can play at Williams Arena. You know, in the pros, in the WNBA, it's 2017, where it's us in LA at that point, who are the 2 best teams. And like I said, I couldn't really guarantee her a championship, but I was like, if I get to play at Williams Arena again, if I get that opportunity, as I was 34, 35 at the time with my WNBA team, I'm like, we're winning a championship, and we did. And so, it's really special stuff. Obviously, it's the barn. It's the best. It's the best. So it's I've been really so lucky.
Certainly memorable, no doubt about it. More to come here on the Gopher Coaches Show when we come back. We'll talk a little more about Sarah Scalia. Is she all Big Ten worthy? We'll have that conversation next.
Watching the Gopher Coaches Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Lindsay Whalen with us this week. And last season, Sarah Scalia landed on the Big Ten's honorable mentions team. Has she done enough, in your opinion, Lindsay, to land on the first or the second team this season?
Absolutely. She has my vote, no question. And I think she's gained, I know there's, coaches in a media team. So I think she's gained, she's earned that. She's earned it. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing when some of that, some of those lists and things come out. Obviously she's put the work in. She's before and after every practice. She worked on her game extensively in the off season with the coaches and then just on her own. So, personally, obviously she's having, the best year of her career. And so I certainly think she's deserving.
Speaking of honors, in our final minute, Linz, on Friday you were named a finalist for the Hall of Fame. You're already named a nominee. Now you're a finalist. Very confusing process. We all know you're going to get in, whether it's April or otherwise. But what's that like at every step of the way when you get honored again? There's a great video on social media, and I'm sure you get congratulations from all over the world on this kind of stuff. Yeah,
a little bit. The video brought my mom to tears. So yeah. I think that's the stuff that you look back and I know that they're proud and grateful for the things that we've gotten to do. And it's been a great career, or it was a great career as a player, and now being named with some of those names that you're with, it's I don't know, it's like I grew up watching him or her. I grew up watching those teams, so it's just an honor, and I'm very humbled. We'll see what happens in April. We'll see if I get the call.
I have a pretty good feeling that phone is going to ring, Lindsay. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Gopher Coaches Show.